For 10 months, they travel the country, the racers competing in NHRA's Winston World Championships, visiting 14 tracks, battling for their share of $1 million jackpot. The battle begins in Pomona at the season-opening NHRA Chief Auto Parts Winter Nationals. This event always sees records broken, and this year was no exception as Kenny Bernstein, in qualifying, established a new elapsed time record at 5.48 seconds. The final of Funny Car pitted not two racers against each other, but two countries against each other. Graham Cowan, the Aussie Raider, was in the near lane, racing against Kenny Bernstein. The Australian and American flags were flying from the push vehicles as these two cars approached the starting line. Kenny Bernstein was looking for his first ever Winter Nationals win. Graham Cowan out of Sydney, Australia, was looking for his first ever NHRA win on any racetrack. A great start for Bernstein. Problems set in for Graham Cowan when the engine let go and a ball of flame erupted out of that Pontiac Funny Car. Bernstein streaked to the finish line at a 5.49 second elapsed time as Graham Cowan brought the car to a slowing stop at the end of the track. In slow motion, it is even more graphically evident the size of the explosion in Graham Cowan's car. At the time the engine let go, Bernstein had already pulled away to a commanding lead. And when Cowan's engine exploded, the race was over at that point. Bernstein was the Winter Nationals champion. Gainesville Raceway in Gainesville, Florida is the home of the Motorcraft Gator Nationals. Billy Meyer in the Chief Auto Parts Special provided his own brand of excitement in funny car qualifying. An engine explosion as Billy hit the throttle when he was trying to make a qualifying attempt left a shambles of a $35,000 high-tech engine. Billy was uninjured in this incident, but the crew faced a tremendous amount of work trying to get the car and body back together. In the first round of competition, it happened once again. Not quite as spectacular as in qualifying, but the end result was the same. Also in the first round of competition, Don Prudhomme, returning to the sport after a year-long layoff, faced a longtime rival, Tom McEwen. Prudhomme won this race with a 5.70 second elapsed time and advanced through the second round into the semifinals, where he matched against the reigning world champion, Kenny Bernstein. Prudhomme failed to qualify at the Winter Nationals, but at the Motorcraft Gator Nationals, he was showing the form that carried him to 4 World Championship titles. Prudhomme had a smooth start, but Bernstein ran into problems and tagged the outside guardrail. Prudhomme advanced into the finals of the Gator Nationals. As you can see, it was Bernstein with his hands full when the car made a sudden move to the left and into that concrete retaining wall. The Funny Car Finals found Don Prudhomme racing against Johnny West. West drives for Roland Leong. Don Prudhomme used to drive for Roland Leong many years ago and won a number of national event titles at the wheel of a Roland Leong-tuned car. At the start, Johnny West ran into problems. A flash of fire came out from underneath the car. Prudhomme streaked on to take his first win in 5 years and his first Gator Nationals championship since 1980. A disappointed Johnny West was still looking for his first national event victory, while the Skoal Bandit crew was obviously happy.
A brand new race team winning the second time out. Did you ever even believe that was possible?
Well,
Really?
Well, not exactly. I figured we're going to have to struggle a little bit more than we did to get in the winner's circle. We had a couple of good breaks, Steve. Bernstein's car is obviously still the killer car, and we're going to take this car home back to California and run and test and work on it because I'd like to win the championship again.
Next on the agenda for the NHRA Winston Championship season was Dallas, Texas, the Texas Motorplex, and the Winston All-Stars. A brand new race in 1987, this event matched the 10 best drivers in each of the 3 professional categories. Prior to the actual racing, a number of social events occurred, as this was the gathering of the true all-stars of drag racing, very similar to the all-star type format in Major League Baseball. In funny car racing, Kenny Bernstein qualified in the 540s, was running 530s throughout the race. Mike Dunn, driving Joe Pisano's car, had run over 273 miles an hour in qualifying. That was one of the fastest speeds ever, but records were not available for setting at this event due to the invitation-only all-star format. This was a race of the quickest against the fastest. Mike Dunn ran into problems. His engine let go. He got the parachutes out and brought the car to a safe stop as Kenny Bernstein advanced into the finals. The engine explosion and resulting fire in Mike Dunn's car was quickly brought under control by the onboard fire extinguishing system required by NHRA. A scary moment that ended well for Mike Dunn. The use of a borrowed car carried over into Funny Car Eliminator. Kenny Bernstein at the wheel of the Budweiser King raced against the Kodiak Blue Max, but it was not Raymond Beadle at the wheel. It was Tom McEwen, referred to for this weekend at least as the Blue Goose. McEwen had established some all-time personal best performances at the wheel of this car, but it was no match for Kenny Bernstein, as Bernstein took home $30,000 in Winston prize money with a 5.36-second elapsed time. The next race on the NHRA Winston Trail, the Nationwide Auto Parts STP Southern Nationals at Atlanta, Georgia. In funny car qualifying, Ed McCulloch lined up in the far lane of the track, Jim Head in the near lane. A tremendous driving job by Ed McCulloch kept the Miller American car from overturning. As the car left the starting line, it immediately moved to the right. Ed corrected. The car started out of control. As it crossed over the center line, it ran into the rear of Jim Head, then rocked up on the left wheels and header pipes, sliding down the racetrack. McCulloch brought the car back to 4 wheels and drove it to a safe stop. Billy Meyer's problems continued at the Southern Nationals in the second round against John Force. Meyer was lined up in the far lane of the racetrack. On what appeared to be a good run, Billy Meyer had another engine explosion. The body blew off the car. Meyer and the chassis bounced to a stop as he spun it out in the racetrack and climbed from the car. In slow motion, you can see the body just peeling away from the vehicle after the engine exploded. The resulting flames went down very quickly, and Meyer, in the 4-wheel equivalent of a Texas bucking bronc, rode it to a safe stop. This has proven to be a very frustrating and expensive season thus far for Billy Meyer. In the funny car finals at the Southern Nationals, the reigning world champion Kenny Bernstein was racing against John Force. This was the 9th final round appearance without a win for John Force at the wheel of the Castrol GTX Oldsmobile. Bernstein got a good start and a 4-car length victory over John Force. His elapsed time, a 5.55-second run. Staying in the Deep South, the Winston Championship Trail moved from Atlanta to Baton Rouge, Louisiana for the Citgo Kmart Cajun Nationals. The funny car points leader and defending world champion Kenny Bernstein was once again in the finals, this time at the Cajun Nationals against Johnny West. Johnny enjoyed his second final round appearance this season. He finished in the runner-up spot to Don Prudhomme at the Gator Nationals. Once again, West had problems. This time he crossed over the center line, gave the win at that point to Kenny Bernstein, who notched his third victory out of 4 races thus far this season. Johnny West had problems from the very start. As his car left the starting line, it began a move to the right that did not come to an end until he had crossed the center line and had disqualified himself. Columbus, Ohio was the site of the 5th race of this season as National Trail Raceway hosted the Budweiser Spring Nationals. In the second round of Funny Car Eliminator, Kenny Bernstein had his share of problems. The smoke that came from the headers on this race car indicated severe engine damage, and Bernstein was forced to shut off the engine. That automatically gave the win to Don Prudhomme. This was only the second time this season that Bernstein had lost a race, and both times it had been lost to Prudhomme. Billy Meyer moved into the finals of Funny Car Eliminator to race against the hometown favorite, Jim Head. Head, a construction engineer, is based in Columbus, Ohio, and the huge crowd was rooting on their favorite. Meyer had apparently solved the engine problems that had plagued him in the early part of the season. Despite what appeared to be a red light, Billy Meyer and Jim Head both had a clean start. Head began to drift towards the center line and was forced to shut it off, and Billy Meyer was the winner.
So a long, hot day has come to an end for Billy Meyer, but he's not thinking about that right now. Your 11th NHRA national title. Been a long time since the 10th, though.
Yeah, I think I told my guys it'll be, even though we've been in the final round every year, it'll be 3 years, which is hard for us to believe, next week. So I'm glad it didn't go to 3 years. I can keep it in the 2-year range.
The next stop on the national event trail was Montreal, Quebec, Canada, in the Grand National Funny Car Finals. Ed McCulloch was considered the underdog. The favorite, not only with the fans, but based upon his performance, was the man who was making his 10th final round appearance, John Force. Force had yet to win a national event title, but this was his day, as McCulloch lost traction and John Force won the Grand National. The state of New Jersey was the next location for the national event trail as Englishtown hosted the Budweiser Summer National. Records were also established by funny car driver Mike Dunn. In qualifying, he had run 270 miles an hour, and with this run of over 268, Mike Dunn reset the official national record. That win over Tom McEwen moved Dunn into the semifinals, where he raced Kenny Bernstein. Dunn smoked the tires, and Bernstein crossed the finish line first and advanced into the finals. The finals of Funny Car Eliminator found a continuation of the rivalry between Kenny Bernstein and Mark Oswald. Oswald, driving the Motorcraft Thunderbird of Candies and Hughes, was a 3-time winner last season. And Oswald pulled the parachute early. Bernstein was the winner for the 4th time this year. Oswald, in his first final round this season, had a very slight advantage over Bernstein at mid-course. By the time they approached the finish line, Oswald had built a lead of a few feet. Then, as they approached the speed traps, Oswald miscalculated, pulled the parachute early, and Bernstein, by inches, won the race. From the near sea level conditions in New Jersey, the NHRA National Event Trail next moved to the rarefied atmosphere of Denver, Colorado, and the Mile High National. Kenny Bernstein against John Force. That was the finals in Funny Car Eliminator. While Bernstein smoked the tires slightly, he was able to recover and pulled ahead of John Force to take home the Mile High Championship. From Denver, Colorado to the land of 10,000 lakes, Brainerd, Minnesota was host to the next national event, the Quaker State North Star Nationals. The Funny Car Finals at the North Star Nationals was a rematch of the Mile High race. Kenny Bernstein was in the far lane against John Force. Kenny had built up a commanding lead in the Winston Championship Series to this point and was making his third consecutive final round appearance. In fact, he had won the previous two events. Bernstein's dominance continued at Brainerd, Minnesota, as he put away John Force with an elapsed time of 5.60 seconds. Next on the agenda was the biggest drag race of them all, the U.S. Nationals at Indianapolis, Indiana. Mike Dunn rewrote the record book once again. In qualifying, he ran over 278 miles an hour, getting very close to that magic 280 mark. In the first round of competition, Dunn ran 274 and set that as the record.
You know, this car's been running fast all year, and when Kenny went 274, we felt we could run 275, 276 if we get her hooked up off the starting line, and 278, that's a little mind-boggling, but, hey, we'll take it.
The 8 best funny cars in the world met in the Big Bud Shootout. In the finals, Mark Oswald was against John Force. Oswald lost traction. Force won $50,000.
My sponsors, my crew, my wife, Austin Coyle, baddest person I know, and all good people up there. I love all of you.
And they love you.
Got no words here, man.
I understand. John Force has been waiting so long for this. An earlier national event win in Montreal, Canada was not televised. Many of his fans were unable to see it, and here is the crew for John Force.
Great.
The biggest payday in this man's professional drag racing career.
The dominant force in funny car racing, Kenny Bernstein, was matched against the fastest funny car in the world, that of Joe Pisano, driven by the defending U.S. Nationals champion, Mike Dunn. Coming into this final round, Bernstein had only won this race once before, that back in 1983. There was concern within Bernstein's crew because of an engine change that took place after the semifinals. Dunn smoked the tires, and Bernstein streaked on for the win.
Can you believe you're even here?
No, it's hard. And you said it. The crew, Dale Armstrong, Mike Wood, Jim Mayle, Charlie Nielsen, and Daryl Gwynn's crew, and all our friends.
Tom McEwen was in there.
Goose, the Coors Goose come in there and helped everybody. We couldn't do it without them, I tell you. And Budweiser, Quaker State, and Buick.
And a 553. I mean, they just came right back with a bare short block motor.
Well, they did. Dale does it that way. That's the way he has them prepared because he changes the combination so much. But you never worry if you don't run out of time. But they put on the kangaroo shoes and ran hard on that one, Steve.
Indeed. Kenny Bernstein, U.S. Nationals champion again.
It's great. It's a great one, I tell you. There's nothing better than the U.S. Nationals. Nothing.
Reading, Pennsylvania was the next stop after Indianapolis and the Castrol GTX Keystone Nationals. Rain forced a one-week delay in eliminations and as a result created a tune and test day for the racers. Kenny Bernstein took advantage of it, and that proved disastrous. Bernstein's car, out of control, on fire, ran off the racetrack and ended up upside down in a swampy area at the end of Maple Grove Raceway. Bernstein's car suffered mechanical problems partway through the run. That in turn led to the engine explosion, which engulfed the entire car and the cockpit in flames. The engine continued to pump fuel through the broken fuel lines that fed the flames, and Bernstein sat at the core of a 200-mile-an-hour fireball. Bernstein, extricated from the wreckage by the NHRA safety safari crew, was uninjured in the accident. The car did not fare quite so well, but after an all-night session, the crew was able to rebuild the chassis, put on a spare body, and Kenny Bernstein returned to competition, where Kenny's luck took a change for the better. In the first round, Bernstein received a bye run that allowed him to check out the rebuilt race car. In the semifinals, it was Bernstein against Mark Oswald, the defending champion. Oswald had been the performance leader, and that proved to be true in the semifinals when he put away Kenny Bernstein with a 5.52-second elapsed time. John Force took a unique means of wishing a happy anniversary to his wife, Lori, as he lined up in the finals against Mark Oswald. This a rematch of the recent Big Bud shootout at Indianapolis. Oswald was still looking for his first national event win of the 1987 season. He had been the dominant car at this event. Oswald had defeated not only Kenny Bernstein, but Don Prudhomme and Billy Meyer to reach the finals to race against John Force. And Force instantly smoked the tires. That put him out of competition. And Mark Oswald, with a 5.49-second elapsed time, took home his first win of the year.
I mean, we've struggled this year, Steve. Every little thing that could go wrong did. I'm just happy for Motorcraft and Ford and Paul and Leonard and everybody on the crew worked so hard, you know. Feel sorry for John to have another runner-up, but I didn't want to give it to him.
The quest for the World Championship moved back to Dallas, Texas, and the Texas Motorplex for the Chief National. All of the excitement at the Chief Nationals was not in the record-setting department. Tim Gross provided a few thrills of his own. The billowing black smoke indicated a serious fire for Gross, but the NHRA safety requirements proved their worth once again as Gross came through this massive explosion and fire without injury. The Gremlin struck in funny car as John Force went up in smoke, and Jim Head took the win. And the capper to the first round saw Mike Dunn lose to Tom Hoover. Ed McCulloch came into the final round of Funny Car Eliminator seeking the backup to his national record for elapsed time. McCulloch was racing against the Dallas, Texas favorite, Raymond Beadle. After winning 2 races last year, McCulloch had yet to taste victory on the national event trail for 1987. The picture of consistency. McCulloch backed up his elapsed time record and won the Chief Nationals.
To pick this one off on the world's best track and set the record, you backed it up at 5:41. You are the quickest of them all.
All right, Steve-O. You wouldn't even give me a clue.
No, not to get that helmet off.
Let me tell you, this is great. I mean, we went through the guys today. This is what drag racing's all about.
Little kiss from Raymond Beadle.
Raymond.
I don't know if that's a reward or not. You two have been best buddies for a long time.
Years and years. We go back a long ways.
You're thrilled.
I'm thrilled to death.
2 races remained on the national event circuit as the Tour pulled into Phoenix, Arizona, and the Castrol GTX Fall Nationals. Kenny Bernstein clinched his funny car title at Phoenix as he lost to Ed McCulloch, just qualifying and making the first round, won the title for Bernstein. Raymond Beadle in the final round against Mark Oswald. Oswald, on a late season performance charge, thundered down the quarter mile and took a decisive victory over Raymond Beadle. Oswald's time of 5.53 seconds at over 263 miles an hour. The last race of the season returned to where it all started 9 months ago, the LA County Fairgrounds in Pomona, California.
The driving ability of Kenny Bernstein, coupled with the incredible performance of the Budweiser King Funny Car, has produced a dynasty that in 1987 claimed its 3rd straight World Championship. Innovative, inventive, creative. The results of this team speak for themselves. 17 wins over 3 years, national records galore, and a consistent performance edge. While much of the credit for the car's performance lies with crew chief extraordinaire Dale Armstrong, it is the combination of Armstrong and Bernstein that makes this team unstoppable.
For world champion Kenny Bernstein, the Winston Finals was not highlight film material. Kenny qualified well in the number 5 spot, but on Sunday morning, before the start of eliminations, the crew discovered engine problems. In the first round, Bernstein was matched against Jim Dunn. Both cars left hard, but then something went away on Kenny Bernstein's car. He lost traction and Dunn streaked on for the upset win. In the finals, the Funny Car Eliminator, Ed McCulloch was making his 3rd final round appearance of the season. The elapsed time record holder was matched against Billy Meyer. After struggling most of the year, Meyer came into the Winston Finals with renewed performance. McCulloch had problems right off the line, losing traction, and Meyer motored on for his 2nd event win of the year, his 12th career NHRA win.